House General Laws Committee for the 2022 session. I almost messed up and said 2021. This meeting is just going to be sort of a get familiar with the committee. I'll have everybody introduce themselves, tell them a little bit about their background, and then we will hear from the Secretary of Administration designee, Lynn McDermott, and then members will have an opportunity to ask questions. Additionally, don't get too used to your seat on the dais because we've had some changes about the speaker on membership, and so they may be slightly different when we reconvene this committee next Tuesday. I want to give thanks of gratitude to our former chair, Delegate Bulova. I thought he ran a very good committee. Last year, and I aspire to run it as efficiently as he did. So, without any further ado, I'm Jay Leftwich. I represent the current 78th House District, which is now technically the 90th House District in Chesapeake, Virginia. My district is wholly contained within the city, and I look forward to serving as the chair. And as I was telling our legal counsel today, unlike some, I consider myself to be the least smartest in the room. So if anybody has any suggestions, comments, or knows how to make things run smoother or the bills better, please tell me. I'm all ears. Thank you. And we'll start with my vice chair, Delegate Wright.
Thank you very much, Chairman Leftwich. It's my pleasure to serve on this committee again this year. My district is District 61. It's in Southside, Virginia. It's composed of Mecklenburg, Lunenburg, Nottoway, Amelia, and Cumberland counties. And I appreciate the opportunity to be with you today and look forward to serving on this committee again this year. Have a nice day.
I'm Delegate Barry Knight, the 81st District, which are half of Virginia Beach and a southern portion, and about a good portion of Chesapeake. So Virginia Beach and Chesapeake, and I'm happy to have Jay Leftwich as my chairman.
I'm Delegate Roxanne Robinson, represent Chesterfield, or the 27th House District, and I'm happy to be very, very happy to be back on general laws.
I'm Will Moorfield. I represent the 3rd District. This is my 12th session, and I represent the majority of the coal fields in Southwest Virginia. Mr. Chairman, it's an honor to be serving.
I'm Delegate Buddy Fowler from 55th House District. I live in Hanover County and also represent Caroline and Spotsylvania County. And again, it's a privilege to be on general laws, and especially with you, Mr. Chairman. So thank you, and just looking forward to serving.
I'm Emily Brewer. I represent the 64th House District, which is Isle of Wight, Surrey, Suffolk, and Prince George. And I look forward to serving. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'm Jeff Campbell. I represent the 6th House District, which is Smith, Wythe, and Carroll counties. I live in Marion, which is in Smith County.
I'm Carrie Coiner. I represent the 62nd District, which is a portion of Chesterfield County, the entire city of Hopewell, and a portion of Prince George County. I live in Chesterfield.
I'm Delegate Wendell Walker from the 23rd District, the city of Lynchburg, part of Amherst County, former Speaker Wilkins' hometown, and part of Bedford County.
Hi, I'm Chris Runyon. I represent the 25th District, which is Southern Rockingham, Northern Augusta, and Western Albemarle, and I'm really pleased to be on this committee and serving the Commonwealth. Thank you.
Sure. I'm Delegate David Bulova. I represent the 37th District in the House. That is the city of Fairfax, parts of Fairfax County out towards the Centerville area. It's a privilege to be able to continue working on this committee, and Mr. Chair, I'm looking forward to supporting you in any way I can.
Good afternoon. I'm Delegate Betsy Carr, privileged to serve the 69th District, which includes a southern portion of Richmond. Delighted to be continuing on the General Laws Committee and look forward also in serving and working with our chairman. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Delegate Luke Torrey, and I represent the 52nd House District, which is comprised in Prince William County and Prince William County alone. So I'm delighted to be on this committee. I've served on it for a number of years, and my colleagues I appreciate sharing with. And Mr. Chairman, I look forward to sharing while working with you.
Is it on?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Delegate Kathleen Murphy. I represent the 34th District, which is McLean, Great Falls, and parts of Loudoun County. This is my 8th year here in the House of Delegates, and I'm very pleased to once again be serving on this committee.
Good afternoon. I'm Delegate Sia Price. I represent the 95th District, which is mostly in Newport News with a small part of Hampton, and I look forward to the work ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Paul Krizak. I represent the 44th District, and that's southeastern Fairfax County. That's the Mount Vernon and Lee magisterial districts. It's an honor to be serving on this committee once again. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Good afternoon. My name is Delegate Dawn Adams. I represent Richmond, Henrico, and Chesterfield County, and I'm grateful to be here. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Skylar Van Valkenburg. I represent Western Henrico County in the 72nd District, and looking forward to another fun general law session, Mr. Chair.
Good afternoon. I'm Clinton Jenkins. I represent the 76th District, which is about 85% of Suffolk, and the rest of it is Chesapeake, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to serve.
Hello, my name is Danica Rome. I represent the 13th District, which includes the City of Manassas Park and the western Prince William County portions of Haymarket, Gainesville, my lifelong home, Manassas. And as a reporter turned legislator, I'm so excited to be on the FOIA Committee for General Laws. And thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I'm grateful to serve with you.
Mr. Clerk, would you like to introduce yourself and your staff?
Mr. Chairman.
I'm George Kane. I'm the clerk for General Laws, and this is our room clerk. Jordan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Jordan Suratan. I'll be the clerk for this room, House Room 3.
And our legal counsel.
Hi, my name is Ashley Benz. I am counsel for this committee.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Schultz, and I am co-counsel for this committee. I look forward to my first session.
Okay, thank you, everyone, for those introductions. There's one last one we want to do. I'm going to have Delegate Moorfield introduce Delegate Wampler, who's not here, but he knows him probably perhaps better than anybody in his district well, so I thought it might be good to have him. There he is. Hey, Will, you want to introduce yourself? Can you hear us?
Hey, Mr. Chairman, can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Good to see everybody. Wish I was there. Should be back soon, trying to heal from COVID. Hopefully by next week I can be in the committee room with you guys, but looking forward to serving with you. And thank you.
Okay, so the only thing we really have on our agenda today is to hear from the Secretary of Administration designee, Lynn McDermott. So, Ms. McDermott, if you would like to take the podium and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I really appreciate the opportunity to address the committee, tell you a few things about what we're up to, and also answer any of your questions. A short little personal note, I am an Army brat. I've lived in Virginia for 50 years. We raised our family here, and I'm very lucky enough that my 3 children are raising their families here. So we love Virginia, and the reason that I even considered this position was because I love this state. So, as you know, Governor-elect is really looking at his day one plan, and one of the 5 initiatives is to make government work better. And I've been thinking about that, and my role as Secretary of Administration is really critical to making government work better. The underpinnings of any organization, structure, government are the technology, the procurement, the HR, and the functions that will come under this secretariat. So our number one priority, and as you know, and thank you, Chairman Leftwich, for being on the landing committee that did a lot of research into this secretariat, the number one priority is technology, and really improving technology across the state to make government work better. And to be honest, the number one priority within technology is cybersecurity. I have 30 years experience in cybersecurity. I was part of the team that developed the reliability standards for the electric grid many years ago. So have really looked at cybersecurity as more than just a function, but really the lifeblood of any organization. And it's really changed over that 30 years. The threats are exponentially larger in both number and complexity. And infrastructure is fragile. Some of it is old. It's completely interconnected. So the first thing we're really going to look at is an assessment of our cybersecurity condition right now. We plan to do a sprint to very quickly, we call it a red team in the technology world, to really get into the cybersecurity aspects of our technology and see where, if any, and hopefully not, but where there might be any holes, and get those gaps filled very quickly. We'll then be looking at technology as a whole, and how do we deliver technology to the various agencies? How do we use technology to improve customer service, not just within the government, but within all of our citizens? How do we make business be able to deal with the state of Virginia much easier so that small business, women-owned business, veteran-owned business, minority-owned businesses can do business with the state, can know how to do business with the state, and can know what the processes are. So we'll be looking at that as well as the technology that underpins it. There are several large applications going in right now across the state, so we'll be looking at those as well. And the other thing I think on the technology front is really data. Data integrity is paramount. Understanding where the data is, what the condition of the data is, how we do information sharing, how we develop trust agreements across agencies such that we're protecting data. So as we work with the government, as we work with Governor-elect, and as we work with all of you and the various agencies, my job is a service provider to state agencies. So I'm in the background making sure that things run smoothly. So we'll be working with everyone to make sure that we're focused on the right priorities, that we're delivering on our promises, and that at the end of the day, we want to make Virginia a leader. I was a CIO or in the IT business when we had our first CIO of the state of Virginia. And we were so proud that we had Don Upson come in as CIO and the only state to have a CIO. Since then, a lot of states have surpassed us, so we really want to be back in being a leader when it comes to the services that we provide.
Thank you. And I'm not sure everybody is familiar with the structure of the Secretary of Administration as perhaps others.
Okay.
I was not aware, actually, until I served on the landing team. So if you could just maybe talk about the departments that fall under that secretariat and maybe highlight one or two things that might be an initiative under each department.
So, of course, VITA, which is the technology side, and I think I've talked about the priorities in VITA. We have general services, which are the buildings and facilities across the state. A lot of procurement is done in those. So the priority there will be looking at efficient ways to really conduct our procurement processes and policies across the state. We have human resources, which looks at policies for human resources, training, and all of the various human resource, again, a service to the other agencies within the state. We have the Department of Elections, which looks at the processes for elections, and they're putting in a brand new system that's going in. And the HR is also putting in the Cardinal system, a new system. And we have I hope I'm getting these right. We have the Compensation Board, which looks at the compensation for all of the commissioned officers across the state, sheriffs, clerks of courts, and others like that. I don't think, and the data, Chief Data Officer, which is a position established, I think, about a year ago, that provides another service to the various agencies in their data processes, tools, policies. I think that's it.
Thank you. I don't want to monopolize this part of the meeting, so if anybody else from the committee has a question, please let me know. Delegate Rome.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I really appreciate it. And so I got a couple questions, and I'd love to just hear some answers from you. So first off, thank you so much for putting your name forward and being willing to serve in this capacity. And I'm particularly grateful for your advocacy for women in tech, especially. You've got a very impressive resume when it comes to advocating, especially in the local Richmond area, for having a lot more women being involved.
Right.
And as we saw in the last couple of years on the CTI committee, just how important it is to have a very diverse worldview being represented at the table. So you're having as many good ideas being brought to the table. So for that, thank you for your work in that regard. So before you were working at the Federal Reserve, the press release that had come out about your nomination, it said that you would serve as Senior Vice President and CIO at a Richmond-based Fortune 500 company, which was Dominion. And I don't think in your role as Secretary of Administration, if you're to be, if you're basically were to approve the job, that you're going to have a lot of interactions in terms of dealing with Dominion and stuff. But I just want to basically just put on record and just get some clarifications about, just tell me about the time frame of which you worked for Dominion, your role there, and what, if any, interaction you would have with them in terms of being Secretary of Administration, just given the number of policy issues that we deal with regarding them in the General Assembly.
Sure. So I'm going to be dating myself. I worked for VEPCO, Virginia Power, Dominion Energy. So I've worked there for over 30 years. I started out in engineering and then went over into IT. I had a boss who said, teach those IT people how to run projects. So I moved into IT and then progressed on up to the CIO and retired as the CIO. So I am a retiree of Dominion. I have no dealings with them. I haven't really even spoken since Tom Farrell passed away with any of the folks over there. To be honest, don't even know many of them. The people change. I think in my role I will have very little, if any, policy decisions. I think the other secretariats are all more the policy advocates. The only area that I think might have anything to do with Dominion would be in general services, because I'm sure Dominion is a customer providing service to many of our buildings. But I don't anticipate anything that would come in the way of policy around them.
Great. Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I have one follow-up question.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Chairman, I would also ask for this is, based on what you saw in the last 2 years, this is completely different from what we were just talking about, the challenges that Virginia Employment Commission received in terms of being the system itself being overwhelmed, let alone the workforce that we had. And in terms of the DMV, we have seen progress being made, and we've carried a lot of legislation in order to improve that process, both from a technical point of view as well as from a workforce point of view in terms of with DMV. What outstanding issues, if anything, do you currently still see with VEC and with DMV? And basically just talk about more or less what plans for changes would you be bringing into those systems, both from the infrastructure point of view as well as the workforce?
So I have had very brief discussions with the two designees for those two secretaries, transportation and employment and labor. We will be working together. I really honestly don't know what many of the issues are. I know there are system issues and have been asked to participate with them in helping to fix those. Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Okay. Thank you, Delegate Rome. Delegate Bulova is next in my queue.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you very much for the presentation. And couldn't agree more with respect to the focus on data integrity and also cybersecurity. Those are really important. I was interested because you had mentioned something that also I think is very important for this committee, and that is our procurement system and making sure that it's easy to navigate and that you're making it possible for as diverse a range of offerers to be able to participate in that system. And then you had mentioned veterans and small businesses and women and minority-owned businesses. So I guess my question is, what kind of goals do you see in terms of diversifying that, and what are kind of the metrics that you would look at to see whether we've achieved those goals. I know that's something that this committee has struggled with before,
Right.
wanting to open it up, but we need to kind of set what are our goals and how do we go ahead and measure those. So I'm curious what your ideas are about how to do that.
So I don't have any numbers yet. I think the first step would be to assess where we currently are. You know, what's the current state? How are we measuring that at this moment? And then how do we set very stretch goals to improve that? So I haven't looked at any numbers in that area. We'll be doing that, I'm sure. I think we need to look at the processes as well and the communication. You know, do we provide suppliers with the right information so that they can provide us with bids and information about their opportunities? So I do think there needs to be improvement in the communication as well as the metrics. Being from engineering, I love those numbers, so I'm ready to look at those.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Delegate Bulova. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, last chance. All right. So, Ms. McDermott, you didn't talk about your charitable endeavors and your philanthropic passions, but I would just say that judging on your resume and your presentation today, you have both capability and competency, and when you add that with a heart to serve and give, there's nothing that can't be accomplished, and I look forward to working with you in your role.
Thank you so much for those comments. Thank you.
All right, so the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second to adjourn. The committee's adjourned.